it has to be off red. What mic is he on? This one? Okay. Oh, brother.
Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airwaves.
He finally found the button to start it. Which one is
Get your story and have some fun with Rhett Palmer.
And now, the most trusted name in radio, Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airwaves.
It is I, the mayor of the airwaves. And David, are you there?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, talking to you.
Well, you didn't introduce me as the governor.
Oh, well, you kind of quit that job. You used to. You were the governor of the airwaves on Wednesdays. I think you should come back and do your show again.
Yeah, sure.
You're getting lazy as you're getting older. Stop it.
Yeah.
Keep doing the things that's kept you alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to let you know this is called Atkins. This is Atkins. This like lose weight shakes.
Yeah.
Okay, the vanilla and the creamy vanilla is good. The strawberry is good. This is the dark chocolate. Blah. Yeah. Don't get it. So, that being said, what's going on here today? We live in a Zionist city. New York professor spews Israel hate, saying Hamas atrocities are not true. New York City professor spews Israel hate, says Hamas atrocities are not true. Liar education. Oh, look at this guy. He's sitting in front of the school wearing all his, can you imagine, want at NYU, I think they should have Hasidic Jews who teach there should wear their whole, you know, the black hat and the black garment, the Davidic curls, the black pants, the suspenders. New York professor agenda on October 7th. Oh, my God, you're supporting rapists that behead babies. Whatever we know, it's not true. Okay, New York, NYU adjunct. It's an adjunct professor. I'm an adjunct professor. Anybody can be an adjunct professor. Were you ever an adjunct professor?
What is an adjunct professor?
They hired me to teach a class at the College of St. Rose in Albany, New York on advertising jingles. Advertising. So an adjunct professor is not a true professor. You really have to earn a great deal. Kyle earned his doctorate to be called professor. So if I was to start a new show called Professor Palmer, I would be okay. That would be legally true, but it would be. It depends on how severe things get in life. Maybe I'll do that because I probably could sell some books if I was referred to as. I mean, Dr. Seuss wrote books, and Dr. Seuss is not a doctor at all. He just picked that up. He was a schmuck Jewish guy there. Call himself Dr. Seuss. So New York professor Aganda, why would it be Aganda, not agenda? New York prof Aganda. Oh,
Propaganda.
Propaganda. Leave it to the New York Post. On October 7th. Adjunct Professor Adim Hussein leads a December 5th teach-in at the new school in which the anti-Israel radical denies Hamas atrocities. On October 7th, NYU says Hussein has been suspended. Yay! How come I don't have applause on here? Remember you were going to get me applause, right? And now it is time for... No. Nothing there. Nothing there. Jesus foretold in this... No, there's no applause.
I'll fix that later today.
Okay, now write that down, all right? Write it down. I'll fix it later today. That's what you told me last week or the week before. I'll fix it today. Oh, and I want that other seat in here. This seat is bothering my back. I'm in pain right now. You don't like that seat. You never even use that seat.
Yes, I do.
Well, you need to use this seat. I need that seat in here. Now, please bring that seat in here. I'm serious, my back. All of a sudden, I feel.
Why were you sitting in that one to begin with? Why didn't you just stand until this one came in?
You're just out to give me a hard time today, aren't you? No matter what.
Why are your guitars in the way? I can't get this
So
thing in.
so you can go by with the chairs. That's why. What do you think?
I can't because the chairs are preventing the door from opening sufficiently.
Watch those guitars. They're expensive guitars.
Why are they in here and not at your house?
Because I used to play them on the air till I had an engineer. Hey, we're on the air, so you might not want to speak, but you're supposed to call that lady with the information I just texted you.
Sorry, Mr. Walsh.
But I'm
She's supposed to call in at 9:30, or that man is, right? Okay. We're good? No. Is Randy calling in? So just call her and give Randy that information, okay? But we're on the air right now, okay? Okay. Why don't you call?
There.
Thank you.
I'm moving this one in
how do
retribution.
I make it go up higher?
It's the same way you make the other ones
Oh,
do with the
okay.
lever.
That won't fit.
It will if I lift it.
Okay. Watch out now. Watch out now. Okay. Oh boy, I tell you what, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen.
This is mine now.
Don't hit those expensive guitars out there.
I've moved furniture before.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm thinking about starting a furniture moving company. I'll probably do better than that than I do in radio. Oh, why?
Insurance.
Huh?
Insurance rates.
Oh, well, it seems I know a lot of people that are in the moving business. They seem to do quite well.
Make like 8 claims a month to break even with insurance alone. Last night.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
You need like 8 claims a month to break even with insurance costs alone.
Wow. Insurance is killing this country. And you know what else? I talked to a lady the other day. She said that she was 70 years of age, which is what I am. She says as soon as she turned 71, her monthly insurance on her car went from $107 a month to $300 and something a month. And this is all because of what DeSantis did. Have you heard anything about this?
No.
How much do you pay a month for your insurance? How much?
About, let's see, probably 120.
120. And you're 97. So mine shouldn't be as much as yours.
Depends on a lot of things.
Of course, it could be because of my youth and inexperience, they might charge me more.
Could be. Could be.
Okay, hold on.
Who are you with?
Hold on. This is Barbara again. Okay, hold on. Okay, hello? No, that's not a phone number. I texted you a Zoom number. But yeah, I would tell you, if you have any questions, you can ask Noah. Noah, is your phone on so Barbara can talk to you?
Yes.
Okay, his phone's on so you can call. Okay. There you go. All these preparations for all these people. And would you do me a favor, Noah, and go and turn down the air conditioning to 70?
Yes.
Look at that. Do you know how to make coffee? I didn't get any coffee this morning. I don't want my coffee. I don't like all this. I don't like this guy here. So the professor, anyway, at NYU is fired. Or sent away or with Hamas. What is this hatred for Jews? Oh, look at that. Diamato, Sopranos star killing it. What's that mean? I mean, she played a real trashy part of this dumb ditzy blonde, you know. Severed head kept in freezer for 4 months. Let's see, cold case. Now that's funny. That is funny. Cold case. The severed head of registered sex offender Cauchin Geezer above was found in a freezer in an apartment where Heather Steins lives. Wow, the severed head of a registered sex offender. So, a missing Brooklyn drug dealer's chopped up body was kept on ice in a Flatbush freezer for 4 months, as one neighbor claimed everybody in the building knew it. Cauchin Gelzer. Okay. That's him. 39, who had been on the state sex offender registry since he was convicted of molesting a 12-year-old boy in 2005, was reportedly killed in a fourth-floor apartment in September, chopped up and stored in plastic bags inside a tenant's freezer. Yeah. Cold case here. Everybody in the building knew it. Tenant Dorothy Williams said Thursday, everybody knew he went in there and never came back out. We all talked about it. Yeah, we all talked about it. Neighbors and sources confirmed that Gelzer was the man whose severed head and dismembered torso were found in the Nostrand Avenue apartment Monday. Records show Gelzer had at least 5 other arrests on his rap sheet and served 2 years in state prison on a first-degree sexual abuse. You know, well, Jesus said, if you hurt one of these little ones, meaning kids, it would be better for you not to have ever been born. It would be better for you to have a millstone tied around your neck and you to be thrust into the ocean than to have ever been born. So really, biblically, if you went back into the Old Testament, and they're trying to promote they're trying to allow these books. That's what the Moms for Liberty are trying to fight. They're trying to allow these books to stay in schools where it teaches boy and man sex.
Terrible.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it's really weird.
It's
The demons have reared their heads.
well, it's evil against good. There's no question about it.
You know, as you move on, everybody's always, oh, everybody's going to be forgiven. My priest friend, oh, in the end, everybody's going to be forgiven. I don't think so. There are people
That's explicitly incorrect based off of the last chapter of Revelation.
There you go. See, he said it. He knows what he's talking about, right?
What did he say?
He said it's explicit. That in the Bible, it says they're going to cut off their heads.
No, it says that in the book of Revelation with the sorting of the sheep and the goat.
Yeah, they're going to separate the sheep from the goats. That's not a bad idea.
See? That's, the time has come.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Oh, I can't sing too much of that, or they'll take us off YouTube, right? Or not YouTube, Facebook. And look at the way I look. Look at this camera action. You make me look like I'm a little fat man. I might be a fat man, but, you know, come on, move the camera down here.
I mean, it was.
Or tighten up.
When you were standing and when you were in the other chair.
Okay. Well, do me a favor. Tighten up on my face or something. Yeah, please. Oh, that's starting to look better. And less of this chest. How did I ever get so fat?
What a mystery.
You know, when you're getting fat, you do not know you're getting fat, but you know that. Because remember, we were having lunch one day, you said, you look like that. No, you knew that I didn't know that I looked like that.
Well, you've done a lot to correct it. Oh, no.
You know what the bad news is at my age?
No.
I cut back. I don't lose.
Oh, I see. You're one of the few people that if you eat less, you don't lose weight.
Not.
No,
It's
well,
harder.
you might as well give
Ask
up.
anybody; they know it's harder to lose weight when you are older.
Well, I was 70 when I lost 35 pounds. So I don't know how that stacks up.
Wait a second. You were 70.
Yeah.
You were 95. You're 97, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you just lose 15 pounds?
I went from 198 to 180, so that's 18 pounds, but I was 225. So actually it was 35 pounds. And that was after I was 70.
I'm talking about what you did recently.
Well, that's recent.
No, 70 is not recent.
Okay.
That's 37.
If I lost 20 pounds.
80, 90. That's 27 years ago.
So if I lost 20 pounds recently, I'm 97 and I lost 20 pounds, and you say you can't lose weight after 70?
So tell me something. So if I live to be as long as you,
Which is very doubtful.
very doubtful, but you never know.
You never
And
know.
and if I could be like you, I just turned 70.
Yeah.
I still have time to follow the footsteps of David Walsh.
No question.
What's
but
your middle name?
Arthur King.
David. You get the name of two kings, David
Yeah.
and Arthur.
Right.
No wonder you've done well in life.
I was fortunate to get two names like that.
What does Walsh mean?
My brother, my oldest brother, was John Russell Walsh. And Russell is my mother's maiden name. But then he got a confirmation name of Benedict. I don't know why he would do that.
Benedict.
He was John Russell Benedict Walsh.
Benedict Arnold was a great soldier until, he screwed up.
So,
But the
And then
reason he
my
screwed up,
second
he
oldest-
became offended, just like Judas.
and then my second oldest brother was Earl Joseph.
Earl. Now, my father's name was Lester Earl Palmer.
Sounds very Anglo.
My brother was Lester Earl Palmer the third. My father was Lester Earl Palmer the second, and my grandfather was Lester Earl Palmer the first.
And you were Noah Palmer anything.
I'm
You
not
were-
the. I'm not. I was not. I was Palmer. I was born Palmer,
Yeah.
and then I was adopted,
Uh-huh.
and then in my mid-20s went back to my original name Palmer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
So I was born Palmer.
uh-huh.
I was born Ronald.
But you were not one of the second, third, fourth, or anything like that.
No, I'm not. I've never been esteemed like that.
So
No one
I-
has.
I go
I'm a
see-
poor soul that no one has ever given me any titles, so I have to make these things up like the mayor of the airways. I don't even know where that came from.
So I go see Dr. Robert Henley.
Yes.
He's Robert Henley the third.
Yeah.
He's the second oldest. His brother is older, but he's not a third. So I said to Dr. Henley, I said,
Yeah.
don't you feel a little bit bad for your brother?
Yeah.
Your brother
What did he say?
Well, he just laughed.
He's not supposed to get that as the second child.
I know, but he did. And it's a travesty.
The Lord says in the Bible, the firstborn is blessed, the firstborn son.
See?
So listen, what is Henley's phone number? I got to call him for a date.
You think I have it in memory or
It's
what?
in your phone.
Yeah, but I don't have my phone with me.
You don't what? You don't take your phone anymore?
I don't take it's not tethered to me.
Well, that's a new thing because you used to be on the air all the time.
Not
Your
at
phone
all.
would go off.
I don't know where you got that.
Many times your phone went off.
Well, it makes you happy to say
No
that.
less than 15.
Good.
How many years were you on with me Fridays like this?
Well, 25, I guess.
25? So you've been putting up with me for 25.
It shows I have a high level of tolerance.
Can you imagine if you get to heaven, the all truth is just there, bare, and they're going to go, God's going to look at you and go, hey, Walsh, how did you, We're all been laughing up here forever. How did you put up with Palmer for 25 years? And why would you do that to yourself?
It's a very good scenario.
I hope Jesus likes me. You know why? I can't imagine that anybody else does.
Oh. Well, you go on the internet and say people who love Palmer.
Hey, look, I'm not even in Wikipedia. I count so little. All my friends, I got friends who are all in Wikipedia. I've been on the air for 29 years. I'm nobody. Nobody loves me.
Now, let me ask you
Nobody.
this. You're also on another station.
Yes.
What is the difference in what you do on that other station?
Well, I'm not the mayor of the airwaves on that station.
Okay.
Jesus is.
Okay.
He's the mayor. And when the guy who runs this, the pastor, first told me, he says, "You're not the mayor here, Jesus is." I kind of was a little offended and shocked because I put all this money into this mayor business and I've copyrighted it and patented and everything, thousands of dollars. And I just renewed it for another couple thousand. Anyway, so he says, Jesus is the mayor of the airways down here. And then I realized, he's right. I'm okay with that. I'll give it all up to Jesus, yes. Give it all, surrender all.
I'll ask you again.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the content on that station and the content on this one?
That station, like we're gonna do an interview here today with this lady. She is on her way here now. She claims she can see angels. So for the past couple of days, I've been reading all these angel visitation stories. So that will be here streamed, but then it will also be edited by Noah, right, Noah? It'll be edited by Noah, and our guest for 9:30 is on here. It'll be edited by Noah, and let me put the headset on. Now we need a headset for Mr. Walsh. There, put that headset on, Mr. Walsh, right up there, and we're ready to go with Randy. I look over there, and there is Randy.
Here I am.
Hello, Randy.
Here.
How are you?
Great, my friend. How are you, sir?
Good. This is my, pardon me?
Paul, I need to have an editing cut for when Randy's thing starts.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to turn it off and turn it on or no?
No, just give me like a 10-second break.
It's a 10-second break?
Yeah, just like 5 or 10 seconds of silence.
10 seconds of silence, please. Mr. Walsh has got all this mixed up here. He's all tied up with stuff. You might want to help him.
I'll come help him in a bit.
Okay. All right, this is the mayor of the airwaves, and today we have Randy on the line. How you doing, Randy?
Hey, I'm great. How are you doing today, Rhett? Happy New Year to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Randy Ray. Always good to hear from you. You sound like that sounds like a name like for a pop star or something. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is, live on the Rhett Palmer Show. It's Randy Ray.
Hey, by the way, did you know that Randy Travis's stage name before he went to his real name was Randy Ray?
Come on.
It was Randy Ray, and he used to sing in the Nashville Palace.
Yes.
I would have church members bring me advertisements where Randy Ray was appearing at the Nashville Palace.
And did you know this, that I won first place vocalist in Nashville's Music City Song Festival? And when I was there, I auditioned for, I don't know, You Can Be a Star, some show back then. And guess who beat out Randy Travis? They picked me over Randy Travis. I'm gonna love you forever and ever, forever and ever. Amen. Anyway, so they picked me, but they said they would own everything I wrote for the next 5 years. Now, when you're in your 20s, and you say you're going to own me for 5 years, you think, oh my gosh, that's forever. And they're going to take all my songs. They're going to own half the publishing rights forever. And everything that I read over the next 5 years. I said, nothing doing. I wouldn't send the contract back to them. In the meantime, though, Nigel, I made friends with a guy named Nigel. Real handsome guy, was in the showbiz down there. He was friends with Randy Travis, or Randy Ray. And Randy was flipping burgers in the kitchen.
Wow.
Like, for instance, he
Wow.
said Randy came in one time and had a big black eye. He was always getting in fights. Did you know that? Back when he was younger, he got in fights. And then all of a sudden, Randy Travis, who would be Randy Travis, said, "Hey, Nigel, guess what? I got a one-record deal." He got a one-record deal. And that was for a song called Forever and Ever. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
man.
That's all it took.
It was written by that red-haired guy. He had a red beard. He had red hair. He's a very famous Nashville songwriter. And so,
Well, my claim to fame in Nashville, other than being born there and having pastored there, is that when I was 22 years old, was it 22? Yeah, I was 22 years old. I cut a demo at Mercury Studios on Music Row, which is where Elvis, the same place where Elvis recorded, in that same studio. And the president of the Country Music Association paid for it. So I didn't have to pay for it. It wasn't a vanity demo, but that wasn't God's path for me. I didn't go that direction. I had a little opportunity, but not a lot. And I stayed with what I've got. And here I am a few years later, just a few years later, and ready to go.
you know, we saw a show at Riverside Theater here in Vero Beach last night called the Jersey Boys. And
Yeah,
it's the whole
yeah.
story of Sherry,
yeah.
baby, ah, Sherry, baby. Anyway, it's a great story. But you know, when I've watched the movie at least twice. I've seen it on Broadway. I've seen it somewhere else, and now I saw it here for a third time. Phenomenally done. They do a great job here in Vero. A $1.9 million budget, right here in Little Vero Beach. So we have a wealthy community, so they put in the dough and stuff, you know. But they'll actually make about $1.3 million in ticket sales, and then the other $700,000 they need from donations. But anyway, the story is that they really that's a tough life. And later on in life, you know, I was talking to a counselor, you know, and a pastoral kind of guy, and he has 11 kids. And he said, you know, if you'd made it back then, after the first place Nashville's Music City song, he said, if you'd become famous, I don't think you'd be dead. I know you'd be dead because you wouldn't have known who your friends were. And when you think about it, even they said in the show last night, you wake up every morning, you don't even know if you're in King Kong or wherever, Hong Kong, King Kong. I mean, you wake up and go, where am I this morning? It's another dreary motel room with those little soaps, you know. And
yeah. To me, the amazing deal on the Jersey Boys, and I'm like you, I've seen it multiple times, is they did everything on a handshake.
Yeah.
Every agreement was on a handshake, which was just absolutely amazing to me.
Frankie Valli ended up making millions, and he and the songwriter, they took a handshake years ago, and they both they both have stuck to the thing all these years.
Okay, I'm gonna get right to the edge, and then I'll come back and we can talk about the real stuff. To me, the funniest moment in that entire play, was when the songwriter, and I can't think of his name, but when he walked down,
Bob something or other.
Yeah, and he revealed, "Oh, what a night!" That was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. And I'll tell you what, let's leave it with the audience to see the Jersey Boys for themselves, and they'll figure that out.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a great show.
Yeah.
Barbara doesn't even like musicals, and she loved it.
Good.
Well, it's not your typical, you know, it's like right now I started saying, well, good morning, Randy Ray. Good morning, Randy Ray. It's such a beautiful day today, Randy Ray. I mean, it's like, oh, come on, you know. So anyway, so you have a great voice. I guess, you know,
I used to be a singer back in the day, and but you know the old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I don't I don't sing much today. My well, you know how it is. I mean, you control the vibrato and any number of things like that. But that's not to say it couldn't get back in shape. But at this point, I would rather be a legend than for people to know the reality.
You know, though, you could, if you were down here, and we rent out the studio for people to have podcasts, I would try to talk you into having your own show. You know, have once a week have a podcast show, and have your own podcast because you got the voice.
Well, you're a nice guy, and I
Oh.
appreciate it, Rhett. Uh, I think that at this stage in my life, I'm really enjoying what I do.
What do you
I
do? Tell the
enjoy.
people what you do.
Well, first of all, I'm retired. I was in the ministry for 42 years, and now I do two or three things. I will go and speak in churches and for various meetings and so on. And then I work with Senior Consumers of America, and I will say this in conjunction with Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. Particularly the Florida Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse, and I do that by trying to, represent what's going on in Tallahassee, represent what's going on as it relates to senior citizens, and I'll say this, as you know, all of this tort reform that we dealt with last session has an impact on senior citizens because lawsuits have an impact. Let me back up, not lawsuits, because this is a this is a distinction that should be made. I don't oppose lawsuits. I oppose frivolous lawsuits.
Frivolous
I
lawsuits.
I oppose unjust litigation. I oppose unjust financing of litigation, which is actually what's being taken up in the Senate and the House this very week, this very month, and throughout this session. In fact, House Bill. And I've got notes today, so I'm just got back. In fact, I just got back from Tallahassee yesterday, where there was a press conference pulled together by Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. And let me just go ahead and say it. CALA.com. That's what people should go to, and then find Florida and become a part of that Florida connection with Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. But just yesterday, I was there for a press conference where we honored before the press several representatives and senators who were champions in the legislation last year, and then certain things were revealed regarding the legislation that is coming out this year, particularly the one that's in the hopper right now is House Bill 1179 and Senate Bill 1276. These are companion bills, and they have to do with with litigation financing, which is kind of an interesting topic. And to be honest, I'm just now getting up to speed on it, but learning some things that I think you'll find interesting, Rhett.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, well, here we go. I think that that a lot of us just forget the fact that sometimes lawsuits are not financed solely by the plaintiff or solely by the attorney. You'll see some places where they'll say there is no fee unless it's a judgment in your favor. You pay nothing unless there's a judgment in your favor.
Yeah.
Well, there's a question about that, Rhett. How excuse me, how can that be done? Pardon me. Here we go. Oh yeah, here he is. He's a frog in my throat with his legs crossed. All right, everybody, hold your ears.
Ribbit. Ribbit.
There you go.
Ribbit.
How do you do that? How do you do it, Rhett? How do you get away with not having the frog in your throat? You just talk it out early on.
I don't know. I just turn because these are like I don't know if they're omnidirectional or unidirectional or whatever kind of directional. But if I go away like this, you can't really hear me as well, you know.
Well, my problem is I've got these earbuds in, and so
It's
you can hear.
it's conical.
If I have a bad thought, you can hear me through these earbuds. So it's,
oh, you have
but
earbuds
back
on.
Yeah, you can't see them.
Oh yeah. So now are
Yeah.
you doing the show with the earbuds, the microphones and the earbuds?
Yeah. Does
That's
it sound
amazing.
okay?
I think so. There's a little bit of an echo in the room. It could be more of a dead room. But I will say this: I didn't know. I just figured it's a little.
well,
it doesn't sound terrible. You know, some people sound terrible. It's like you're calling me from a tin can. Wake up. Okay,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Sometimes I go with you. We do the Zoom call where there's video and audio. But sometimes when it's just an audio interview, I'll go into another room that's and sit in a padded chair, and it's a lot better. This is my study, my office at home, and it bounces a little bit. Back to the lawsuit financing, and I guess we just don't think about these things. That sometimes, whenever there is a lawsuit that's in play, it is financed or partially financed by a third party. A third party would come in and say, you know what, I want to be a part of that lawsuit, and here's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to put in $100,000 or $25,000 or $500,000 toward the successful conclusion of this lawsuit, and then they become part of the lawsuit to whatever percentage is agreed. And it's like we were talking about last session.
Yeah.
Some attorneys, not all attorneys, and please, again, it's not all attorneys and it's not all lawsuits, but some attorneys have looked for ways and loopholes to stretch the law to their own personal advantage. And last year's epic session, and it was a barn burning session. Last year's epic session created a whole different climate for attorneys in the state of Florida, and that's why just before the litigation or the laws from the last session came into effect, 100,000 lawsuits were filed under the line so that they wouldn't have to be under the new law. Well, that being said, that's not all of the litigation or the tort reform that needed to be looked at. In this case, they're looking at litigation financing. And let's go back to that scenario whereby someone can put in X amount of dollars and receive X amount of the settlement. In some cases, under the current system, in some cases, the financier can receive more than the plaintiff in one of these lawsuits. If Rhett puts in $250,000 and there is an agreement that he becomes a 60% partner in this lawsuit, then what happens is, after all is said and done, and the lawsuit comes out, and let's say the settlement is for $1.2 million. Then and you have attorney fees of $200,000, then of that remaining $1 million, Rhett gets $600,000 and the plaintiff gets $400,000 because Rhett financed it.
Financed it. Now I don't quite understand that. What do you mean? Like, how does somebody how did I finance it? Like, in other words, I came up with how much. I mean, I paid the lawyer in advance.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And maybe not the lawyer. You go into the legal fund and you say, okay, I'm putting X amount of dollars into this particular case, and then that money is designated. And let me say this: that is a legal strategy. And I'll give you for instance.
Oh my word!
Well, let's here's something very common that you will understand. And I'm sure that there's plenty of laws that govern this. But whenever we're insured in a lawsuit, that's a third-party financing of the lawsuit, because the insurance company comes in, pays for your legal counsel, pays for certain, and they have certain limits. They say, well, we may pay up to $300,000 or up to X amount, but then they are a third party, so to speak. They are a third-party financer. Now, what happens is not every person or entity that is going to be a third-party participant in a lawsuit. And I agree with you. It's other than insurance, it doesn't pass the smell test. But what it all boils down to is speculation. And the speculation is, okay, I'm betting on this person to win the lawsuit, and I'm betting that they're going to have a $3 million settlement.
Yeah.
So to that end, I'm going to put $500,000.
Yeah, but how do I find you? Okay, is the plaintiff the guy? Who's the plaintiff?
All right. Let's say you're the plaintiff.
Now, what is a plaintiff?
Okay, the plaintiff is the person that's wronged, the person that
Okay,
is
so
making
I'm the
lawsuit.
plaintiff. How do I find
Yeah.
Randy Ray who's willing to put up $200,000 to pay my attorney?
Okay, let's say that let's say that David is your attorney.
Yeah.
You don't have to find. And David, forgive me. I know that you're a reputable man, but I'm going to, for a moment, make you not such a reputable person. Okay.
All right. The scoundrel David Walsh.
He is the scoundrel. He is the guy that we are having to protect ourselves from.
He's the one that they said kill all the. First thing we do is kill all the attorneys.
He is one of them.
Who said that, by the way? Was that Shakespeare or was that who was it?
That might have been Shakespeare. I'm not. Yeah, I've heard the line, but I don't know. But let's go back to David.
Okay.
David. Okay. David already knows these people, and David has had an agreement with these people for a long time.
Yeah.
And in that agreement, David says the attorney calls him up and says, "Hey, David, guess what? I got a deal here. Rhett has a slip and fall in Publix, and it looks like this is going to be a $3 to $4 million case. It may take a while, and we're going to need some upfront money." And so David says, "Hey, I'll do that. $3 to $4 million. I'll throw in $500,000." And so he throws $500,000 into the fund, but not without strings attached. And the strings, of course, is that he is going to get a percentage of the settlement. Now, there are variations of that all across the board. There are variations of that. I'll give you one illustration, and it's not exactly this, but it's a similar thing. And this is addressed in the litigation that's being put forward this time. Let's say that there are people that get a finder's fee for lawsuits, and let's say that David now has hired. Yeah, David has hired Randy. Yeah, David has hired Randy Ray.
Yeah,
and David says, "Hey, Randy, look, you know what I do? I put money into lawsuits and get money out. And I'll tell you what, you find me a good lawsuit, and there's 50,000 in it for you, or there's 2,000 in it for you, or however much there is. There's a percentage in it for you. And I'll give you a case in point. And I'm not going to name names here because actually, this guy ended up being a friend of mine, even though he has a dubious reputation, but you probably know a couple of dubious reputation people as well, Rhett. But I was in this guy's, he's an attorney, or was an attorney, he's been disbarred. But I was in this guy's office years ago, decades ago. And we were discussing a situation. And he said to me, "Hey, Randy, let me just tell you something. I know that you're in the hospitals a lot. I know that you visit a lot. And, there are all kinds of people that come to you during various situations. If you find something that you believe is actionable, and you refer that to me, I'll write a check to you. And what you do with a check is up to you. You can give it to the church, you can keep it, whatever you want to do. But that on its face is unscrupulous, Rhett. And actually, it's probably was illegal back then. Of course, I never did such a thing. But all of that being said, there are so many boogermen hidden inside of this particular practice. Let me give you one that you don't even think about. Mm-hmm. Let's say that there's a lawsuit that's coming up regarding internet access. Okay.
Yeah.
And or regarding social media or whatever it may be, and we don't know exactly what the lawsuit is going to be, but there's somebody in China who says, "You know what? I'm following these lawsuits in the state of Florida or Georgia, wherever it may be, and there's a lawsuit right there with some potential." And so here's what they do: somebody in China. We don't even know who they are. We don't know how high up their contacts are. It could be the government itself. And I'm just using China because that's an obvious illustration today. It could be any country, and it could be reputable or not so reputable. It could be whatever it is. But they say, "Hey, here's this lawsuit there in the state of Florida. We have contacts with the attorney that does the lawsuit. In fact, the attorney has contacted us, and they're looking for $2 million in this, and we're going to put $2 million in it. And putting the $2 million in there, they become a part of the lawsuit. Now, their reason for being a part of the lawsuit may not be the money that they would get out of it. Their reason in being a part of the lawsuit may be to influence the way that the trial goes and to influence the kind of relief that is being sought, because they need something decided in the courts in the United States to give them some relief regarding TikTok or whatever else it may be. So built into this bill are limitations on third parties being to get involved in that way, or third parties being able to influence that. And also, there's full disclosure under this litigation. You got if if we're involved in this lawsuit and China becomes a litigation financier, then it has to be disclosed that we have a third party financier here, and that third party entity is none other than Communist China or Venezuela or Mexico or Canada or whatever it may be. That third party is that person, and so what you have then is you have situations where you've got governments that are not pro-America, who can, under certain circumstances, through the judicial system, influence the way that influence freedom and so forth and so on. And in addition to that,
but the plaintiff has to agree to that third party intervention. Is that true?
I think so. However, let me say this. Let's go back and David, the governor of the airwaves.
He was listening.
David, the governor of the airwaves, who is our attorney, he comes to Rhett and he says, Rhett, I don't think we've got enough money to do this lawsuit. I mean, we've got a lawsuit here, Rhett, that has a possibility of X amount of money, but I don't think we've got the income to pursue it. Now, I will tell you this. I can get some lawsuit financing, but there will be a percentage of your settlement that will have to go toward the person that is financing the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds crazy to us, but it's happening every single day.
Here's what I want to know: is where do I find somebody? Where do these people find each other?
Again, you don't have to find anybody, because there's a network among the attorneys, and they already know. I promise you, if you can call ex-attorney, I don't know who he is, but you can call ex-attorney and say, hey, look, I want to know, do you have any access to financial assistance in litigation? And that particular attorney would say, well, actually, I have a couple of sources. What are you talking about? So you don't have to find them, Rhett. They're found on your behalf. Now, I want to go a step further. Go ahead.
The occasion may arise where the retainer is extremely high because the chance of winning a large settlement is very good, and
Right.
under those circumstances, you want to reach out for somebody because, like the old saying, it's better to have something than 100% of nothing.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, David. I'm not saying that this is a practice that is being abolished, because in those circumstances, you're exactly right. But what it's being is controlled. Those even those people who are not bad actors in this arena. I'll give you a for instance. Let's just say. I mean, who knows? But let's just say that what is being the lawsuit that's being pursued has within it certain sensitive information. And that sensitive information is not just related to the lawsuit. It's related, let's say, to national security. Let's say it's related to something that is well beyond the lawsuit. Well, that third party, as it stands right now, that third party financier has full access to the case and to the facts of the case, and has the ability to influence the case and know things that probably he or she should not know. Under the litigation that's being proposed, House Bill 1179, Senate Bill 1276, under that, those things are regulated. And it's just another way in the state of Florida to close loopholes. And I will tell you that with the advancement of these tremendous representatives and senators last session, and quite honestly, our friends at Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse and Americans for Tort Reform and all of that kind of thing, these these people have made Florida a better climate for the consumer and a worse climate for the attorney than it was prior to. But here's a situation where there's still a loophole open. And so through the House and Senate, trying to at least not prevent lawsuit financing, but to close some of the loopholes. And I'll go ahead and say this. In addition to what you said, David, regarding the person not being able to afford the retainer, and that you're exactly right. You're 100% right. There also may be a situation. Let's go back to Rhett. Rhett is disabled. He's got a slip and fall. He fell. He was buying a can of beans, and now he can't even open a can of beans because of the slip and fall. And Rhett is in bad shape. And this thing is going to go on for 2 years. This is not going to be a quick settlement. It's going to go on for 2 years. And so here's what can happen. That third party can say, okay, we're going to help in the financing, but here's another way that we're going to help. We're going to provide Rhett Palmer with an income for the next 2 years. And Rhett, don't you worry about a thing. You're going to have this income for the next 2 years, and we're going to be a part of your lawsuit. So, and quite honestly, that's a legitimate way to do it. It doesn't seem quite like it's something that's on the up and up, but it is something that is on the up and up when it's on the up and up. But even then, there needs to be restrictions regarding the information that third party has access to, or the influence that third party can have on the lawsuit. So therein lies the goal of this legislation. And again, and I'm going to admit, Rhett, and I'll come back. You know, we always enjoy being on your show.
You're welcome here anytime.
I'll come back if you. Well, I'm just at the jump off point. In fact, this just got out of committee, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it was voted out of committee 10-7, which is a little surprising because there were a couple of Republican votes that were against it. I don't know who they are, but I do know a little bit of the background of why they were against it, and it all had to do with hurt feelings regarding political matters, which it shouldn't be a big surprise to any of us.
Yeah. Well, I'm good at that. Hurt feelings.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Randy Ray, don't forget, for the Christian station down here, someday we got to get together and do a 1 hour interview where I interview you about your whole story of being a pastor in Nashville, how you came to know the Lord, other miraculous stories. I got a lady coming in later today at 11, and she wrote this whole book that she's had all these encounters with angelic beings. And I believe that, even Billy Graham did write a book on angels. Have you ever been connected or touched by an angel?
I will tell you this. I have had a couple of, I didn't call it an angel, although you don't always know if there's an angel, because the Bible tells us that we have entertained angels and we were unaware of the fact that we had entertained angels.
Yeah.
But I have had 2 to maybe 3 in particular situations where I knew that the Lord was speaking directly to me. Now, I know that sounds, well, man, you're a pastor. Shouldn't he be speaking to you all the time? I'm talking about to the point of me knowing there's nobody here but me and God. And one case, I'm in a car.
Yeah.
And I literally looked over in the seat. Excuse me. Pardon me. I'm so sorry. But I literally looked over in the seat and I said, "What is it?" Because the Lord was getting my attention. And I looked over in the seat and said, "What is it?" And then we carried on the conversation. And I'll tell you about that conversation someday. on that other broadcast because I would love to do that. And I'm just waiting on you on that one, Rhett.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, listen, Randy Ray, we're out of time for today. Again, if people want to know more about this, though, is there a website they can visit?
Yeah, they need to go to cala.com, cala.com. Find the Florida link and join up for the newsletter. Also, join our newsletter at seniorconsumersofamerica.org. Spell that whole thing out, seniorconsumersofamerica.org. Rhett, it is always a pleasure to be with you, my friend.
Hey, God bless you, Randy Ray.
All right, buddy. Hey, I look forward to hearing from you.
Forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. There you go. All right, brother.
Okay, bless you.